Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief keeps you informed about what's happening in Annapolis and Arundel County and Maryland. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and, of course, local weather. Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief starts now.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, September 2nd, 2020. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief. In a very surprising announcement yesterday afternoon, Governor Larry Hogan announced that the state of Maryland will be moving into Stage 3 of the Maryland Strong Roadmap to Recovery. He cited the state's improving health metrics and said in a statement, "The people of Maryland who have pulled together over the last 5 months to respond to this unprecedented challenge with incredible courage and perseverance. It is thanks to all of you that we have crushed the curve, saved lives, and that our state response to this global pandemic continues to serve as an example to the rest of the nation." Nobody really expected Stage 3 to be anytime soon. Most people felt it would be closer to the end of the year, but what that means now is that indoor theaters, including movie theaters, as well as live performance venues, can open up at 50% capacity or 100 people per auditorium, whichever is less. For any kind of outdoor venues where live performances may occur, that's also 50% or 250 people, whichever is less. Retail and religious facilities can bump up from 50 to 75% capacity. Bars and restaurants do need to stay at 50% capacity, but basically all businesses in Maryland can now be open at some level. The governor did say that masking and social distancing is still critical that we do to make sure that we have the virus under control. It is not behind us by any stretch of the imagination. In the press conference yesterday, he also announced a partnership with Google and Apple. Maryland is going to be one of the first states, along with Virginia, D.C., and Nevada, to deploy the new Exposure Notifications Express, which will alert you if you have been reasonably exposed to the COVID-19 virus. Apple did update their iOS yesterday, and I did check it out, and it is not something that is automatically in there. You do have to opt into it. There are several steps to it, so for those that are worried about privacy, they do explain it as you go through it, but it is most definitely an opt-in as opposed to an opt-out type of a process. The governor did give some updates on schools, youth sports, and elections. As far as schools go, the governor lauded the State Board of Education for encouraging systems that have not developed a plan to return to students to in-person instruction until 2021 to reevaluate. He is doubling down on getting students back in the classroom this fall. In terms of youth sports, he had a big dig on our own county executive, Stuart Pittman. 2 days ago, Pittman addressed a group of angry football people because the county had canceled the youth football season. He apparently blamed the governor, and the governor said nope. On June 12th, he allowed all youth sports gatherings and events to begin resuming. A little bit later on yesterday, the Capitol was reporting that the county seems to have backtracked a little bit on the cancellation and says that they are not able to play tackle football, but I guess they can play flag or touch. On elections, the governor did say the State Board of Elections now has mailed out ballot applications to every Maryland voter, so you do want to keep your eye out in your mailbox for that. He did encourage everybody to vote by absentee ballot, and if you are going to vote in person, make sure you go at off-peak times and expect lines and crowds. I got my absentee ballot application in the mail last week. Very simple. It's already pre-filled out with your name. You just have to verify your address, phone number, and I believe the last 4 digits of a social security number. Maybe, maybe not. Mail it back. There is a self-addressed stamped envelope. After the press conference, the governor did take some questions, and one of the reporters asked, they said, well, what about your April statement that said Maryland would not move into Stage 3 until a vaccine or a treatment was in hand? And the governor simply said, well, a lot has changed since then. In some non-COVID news, the Anne Arundel County Department of Health has started their raccoon oral rabies vaccination program. That's ORV. That started on the 31st, and what they're going to be doing is they're going to be placing edible baits throughout the county to vaccinate raccoons against rabies. The baits are going to be placed in neighborhoods by ground teams. They will be wearing T-shirts that say the Department of Health, and they will travel in marked county vehicles, and they also will be dropped by low-flying county police helicopters in less populated areas. There are two types of baits. One looks like a ketchup packet with a light brown waxy coating, and the other is a small brown brick about 1 1/4 inches square. You want to go to eyeonannapolis.net. I've got pictures of the two baits up there if you want curious to see what they are. And how they work is when the raccoon bites into them, it does immunize them against rabies. It is not dangerous to other pets or animals. It has a very low human health risk factor. However, it is advised not to handle it if you're under 18, you're pregnant, have a compromised immune system, chronic skin conditions, and they say that if your pet gets a hold of it, just get it out of your pet's mouth. Don't let him eat it. He should be fine. You can find out more information on the whole program at aahealth.org/ORB, and this should be all done by the end of September. And as a reminder, after Labor Day, which is Monday the 7th, so that would be starting on Tuesday the 8th, the city of Annapolis is going to resume charging for parking at city parking spaces. They are also going to resume ticketing for expired meters. City Manager David Gerald said the city is spending a lot to maintain infrastructure and provide support to businesses. The parking fees are a main revenue stream that does need to be restored. Now, you want to remember that the garages still remain free during recovery zone events. And what that is Gotts Court Garage will be open after 5 p.m. every Wednesday through Sunday. And the Hillman Garage, the one on Main Street, will be open after 5 p.m. on Thursday and Friday and after 10 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday. So there are still some free parking options for you down in downtown Annapolis. I do want to give some kudos to the Anne Arundel County Department of Health. I went and got a COVID test on Monday at the Pitt Moyer Rec Center. It was one of the walk-in pop-up testing stations. Started at 9:30. I got there at about 9:35. Took me about 45 minutes in line. It would have been a little bit sooner, but they brought some city cops in there, and they were able to go to the head of the line, rightfully so they could get back on the beat to get their test. But all said, I was done in about 40 minutes. And I had my results online yesterday morning by 9 a.m. That was like a 19-hour response time for results online. And then by 3 p.m., I had a phone call from the health department with the results. So that was, again, just over 24-hour response time. So huge kudos to Dr. Colin Ariman and everybody over at the county health department. They're doing a hell of a job there. And I will say that the Annapolis OEM, or the Office of Emergency Management, did a great job of managing the pop-up site and keeping people distanced, had water for them, had hand wipes, sanitizer, the whole 9 yards. Keep your eye out. Make sure you get tested, especially if you're feeling like you've got some symptoms. All right, and finally, here is a fun fact for you. According to the FBI, the national average for solving robberies is 29.7%. The average for solving robberies here in Anne Arundel County is 70%. So great work to the ladies and gentlemen of the Anne Arundel County Police Department. And in a related statistic, the average of solving the 2 robberies that I had here in Annapolis, that still remains at 0. All right, that does wrap it up for the news today. Please make sure you're checking out eyeonannapolis.net throughout the day for updates to these stories and more. You do want to check out the photos of the rabies baits that the county will be distributing. If you are someplace you can leave a rating or a review, please do that. Let your friends, family, and colleagues know all about us as well. We do have George Young with your local DCMDVA weather standing by, and I must admit that I screwed that up yesterday, but I got it right today. He's coming up real quick, but first this quick message from Solar Energy Services.
Hello, energy consumers. This is Rick Peters, president of Solar Energy Services. Have you been looking for ways to save money recently? Maybe you should consider solar energy for your home. Or are you waiting for the technology to get cheaper? If so, how long are you going to wait? Today's solar costs less than 20% of what it cost 10 years ago, but while solar prices have declined every year, so have the financial incentives. Bottom line, if you wait for cheaper solar, you're also waiting for lower incentives. Take my home, for example. My solar system was installed in 2010, and it's been paid off for almost 5 years, and I no longer have to buy any electricity for another 15 to 20 years. If I waited for cheaper solar, I'd still be paying an electric bill. At Solar Energy Services, we have thousands of satisfied customers who are sure glad they didn't wait. So what are you waiting for? Sunshine's a wasted. Call us today for a free solar design at 410-923-6090 or on the web at solarsaves.net.
Sunshine, sunshine, nothing else can make me feel so fine.
When you live near Annapolis, you know how fickle the weather can be. So you need a truly local forecast that's accurate and reliable. Forecast right here in Annapolis. DCMDVA weather is not just for today, but for the rest of the week and the weekend too. Now here's George Young of DCMDVA weather with the weather outlook for today and beyond.
Hey everyone, this is George with DC MDVA Weather, and this is your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Wednesday, September 2nd. Yesterday turned out slightly better than expected, with less drizzle and rain showers, but at least the temp stayed fairly nice as the clouds stuck around, which made for a nice start to meteorological fall for the Annapolis region. But temps will warm a bit today into the mid or upper 80s with a chance of PM storms, followed by another chance of PM storms tomorrow with highs upper 80s to lower 90s across the region, before it's then all sunshine on Friday with afternoon highs of 85 to 90 degrees, leading up then to a spectacular string of weather days for the Labor Day holiday weekend, in which the entire mid-Atlantic region will see tons of sunshine with highs upper 70s to low 80s Saturday through Monday. So make plans now for a fun holiday weekend ahead to cap off a weird summer stretch, and of course one of the weirdest years on record, as we continue to move toward a new year and hopefully a full-time return to some level of normalcy in the first half or maybe even first quarter of 2021. Okay, that's it for today. This is George Young of DC MDVA Weather. Make it a great day out there. Stay healthy and be safe. And be sure to get our free app on all of your devices by searching DC MDVA Weather in the Apple or Google App Stores. And also follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and use our website each day at dcmdvaweather.com so you can always stay weather informed.
When a ring from the United States Naval Academy comes into Zacharys for a center stone, it always makes us wonder, where's this one going? Where's this one been? A nuclear sub in the North Atlantic? A carrier deck in the South Pacific? The moon? 52 astronauts are Academy graduates, from Iwo Jima to Okinawa, Corregidor to the Coral Sea, Midway to the Persian Gulf, Congress to the White House. These rings go where America goes. 73 that went to war were awarded the Medal of Honor. But wherever they go, wherever they may serve, our admiration goes with them.
Zacharys. Online at ZacharysJewelers.com. More than a jewelry store, a jeweler.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues, this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis and Anne Arundel County. And don't forget about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. And make sure you follow us on Facebook at All Annapolis and on Twitter at Eye on Annapolis. This Daily News Brief podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m.